You are now listening.
You are now listening
to the Black Male Educators Alliance podcast.
Lifting our voices.
Lifting our voices.
Welcome back to a new episode of the Lifting Our Voices podcast. I am Michael Payne. This is my co-host, Dr. Lewis. How you feeling, man?
What's up? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. We shooting somewhere special today, man. Where we at?
We are in the capital city of Michigan.
Okay, Lansing, Michigan. We got some special guests today. Some brothers, I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a second, but we got a really special episode for you guys today, so stay tuned. So, on our guests, man, we start from the left, man. Say your name and what you do.
Latavius Adams, play semi-pro, working, full-time father, full-time friend, everything.
Yes, sir.
My name is Dante Dupar, same thing, working father.
Okay.
My name Roderick Walton, barber, father, entrepreneur.
So we got some black men, some black fathers, some hardworking men out here in Lansing that we're going to talk to in a little bit. But first, what's new with BMEA, Doc?
Man, before we do that, I want to shout these brothers out for one. Two, we in Roger's barbershop.
Okay.
So we in his barbershop out here in Lansing. What's the name of your barbershop?
This is Rod the Barber.
Rod the Barber. Go to Rod the Barber. This man, I know my haircut, he ain't did nothing to me today, but he's the man. So shout out if you're in the Lansing area or you're going through Lansing. Feel free to stop by this guy. But, man, we got a lot going on. Like this weekend with BMEA, I'm like super pumped. I know we're going to be tired by Sunday, but we got the wellness, the principal wellness is popping off on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. We're taking about 20 principals. We're going to have breakfast. We're going to get on that nice little charter bus. You know, I ain't going to say what kind of bus it is, but it's a charter bus. And we're going to go down to Top Golf. We're going to play some golf, learn how to play golf, figure it out.
Yeah.
And then we're going to head back. We got some nice packages and gifts for them. This is something that we've been doing for the last couple of years with our principals. So I'm super excited to join all of them because our second cohort have been online all year. So this will be the first time we've seen many of them in person.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. We got brothers coming from Ohio coming up for the weekend to join us in fellowship. So I'm very pumped about that.
Nice. And actually, we just had a trip ourselves with the mentoring program. Took the boys to Kalahari, so that was great, man. Good time, just good, and instilling some of the values in those boys while they get an opportunity to get away from their parents for a little bit and show some independence. So it was tiring, yeah. So back-to-back weekends, but it's all part of the work. So absolutely.
Good, man. So look, how you feeling after we went on Saturday, got back on Sunday. Today is Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Still tired?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Watching people's kids, especially in that age group, the middle school age group, yeah, man, a full day's work of that, yeah. I need a weekend, no children. But it was good, though. Like I said, I had a good time, spending time with them, happy to see them, happy and enjoying themselves. So that's good. And then the week before, we had a leadership jam for our teen youth. The 8th graders were part of a design challenge, actually with some high schoolers. So I'm really proud of them. They're being the youngest guys in the group. But being able to hold their own and share ideas and things around problem-solving issues in their school community and the community itself. So really dope stuff happening. And we also had another ECTF session, so the brothers came through. We just talked. We had a really interesting conversation about child development, actually, and like a lot of teachers not really understanding what's age-appropriate and holding kids, I guess, punishing kids for doing something that developmentally they are doing appropriately, and that's the conversation for another day. But that definitely,
because you're gonna get me hyped.
I know, but it's something we me and you have talked about a lot in terms of like how do we prepare our teachers. So I'm really glad we was able to have that conversation with our early career teachers. Those brothers are in the field doing the work, and they're learning as they go. So it's really good to be able to have those conversations with them. But today's a special episode because we are going to be reflecting a little bit on the mentoring you've done in the past. Yep. I guess before we get to that, any current events up. I don't know if you guys are soccer fans. Croatia, Argentina, your World Cup.
Who's playing for now?
It's Croatia, Argentina, France, and Morocco. So Morocco's like the first African nation to get that far. So shouts out to them.
Let's go.
I don't have anybody I really root for, but go. Morocco. Yeah, Morocco. For sure. We're going to go for Morocco now. And then BG's home. Brittany Griner is home. They had to make a prisoner swap with a Russian arms dealer, as most people know. But the most important thing is she's home. Her imprisonment was egregious and really a political play that we all understand. So, it's a part of the game. So glad that she's home. I'm happy she's with her family. I hope she gets the help and therapy she needs to kind of get back on track and play ball again.
Yeah, man, I was happy to hear that when I woke up that morning and saw that. And I was like, man, because I thought I was hearing reports, people be making up stuff on social media like they can't find her, we don't know where she at. And I was like, dang.
Well, yeah, it was getting bad.
They were
about to send her to a penal colony, and they cut her hair. So it was getting bad. So I'm glad they ended up making that move. And a lot of people got into their CIA bag with we were let go of a Russian arms dealer. And it's like, relax.
It's just
relax. You ain't talked to Victor about like he's a cartoon character to you. You know what I mean? And not even saying it's right, but I never wake up worrying about the U.S. and our defense and our military and like how we deal with none of that stuff. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like I said, I'm glad she's home. They did what they had to do. I would know if it was me. Send whoever you need to send to bring me home. That's what I'm saying.
For sure.
I don't get involved in y'all little tip. You know what I'm saying? That you got with Russia. Bring me home. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it.
And it's also show too, man, the power of the WNBA. I think they have been more so than the men, really, fighting for social justice issues and issues such as this. And so they stood behind her. They've been standing behind Black Lives Matter. They've been standing behind a lot of stuff that's been happening. And we know they don't get paid much, right? And I think the larger issue, which we won't get into much, is the fact that they even got to go over there to play in Russia to compensate for the lack of money that they make here in the United States.
Right.
I was watching somebody on CNN. They were saying, they can average over about $100,000, which is just crazy. And they go over there, it's like $1 million or $2 million.
Yeah.
So of course, like you're presented with that, I'm gonna go to Russia and I'm gonna make 200. And she was saying Russia is one of the countries where we're paying the most for folks to go over there and play. So, that's the issue we need to be addressing, right? Why we are even over there playing, because of the issues and equities we got over here in this country when it comes to men and women. So, I know soccer has made some shifts as far as that equal pay situation, and I hope I'm hearing it more now with the WNBA, but they're going to try to figure out, start looking at more sponsorships and things of that nature to help with that. So hopefully that continues to move in that right direction, because they shouldn't have to, go over like we don't see LeBron and them going over there to play
Right.
after playing 6 months over here, going to play another 2 months, 3 months, or whatever in another country. So hopefully we can fix that. That's the larger issue that I hope this brings light to.
Absolutely. And then Deion, so big news, HBCU news. Deion Sanders has left Jackson State to go to Colorado. We actually have a clip. Before the clip, man, I want to hear y'all thoughts on, like, how did that make y'all feel when you heard Deion leaving? Were you surprised, upset? Or you kind of like, hey, man, he got to do what he got to do? What's y'all thoughts?
I wasn't surprised at all. It was his plan from the jump. I didn't think it was going to happen that quickly for that school. I thought he was going to wait for a bigger school. That was the whole point of going to be a head coach, so that you can go be a head coach at a school that'll fit you. Because if he failed at Colorado, then what?
Right. No, I completely agree with you. You got any thoughts?
I ain't mad at him for making the move. I ain't gonna lie. But he did what he had to do.
Okay.
I kind of feel the same way. Like you said, it kind of was obvious anyways. I mean, you coaching to kind of get farther up anyways, and now he's on a bigger platform to help out more kids as well. So I'm rooting for him. Like I said, the opportunity came a lot sooner, probably than he expected and stuff like that. But the simple fact that, now he's at a bigger college with a bigger spotlight and stuff like that, he can also help the same kids, if not even more kids, now that he has that bigger platform too. So I'm rooting for him.
No, and I think you bring a really interesting point that they haven't heard before about the bigger platform and opportunity to help impact kids. I think that I kind of agree with you. I didn't think that he would stay at Jackson State forever. They couldn't afford to keep him. Like it was charity work in my opinion. So it really just, I guess, how long he was planning on staying. But before I get to my point, let's go to the clip and just see what Dr. Umar and Charlamagne were talking about on the Breakfast Club this morning.
Deion Sanders. The reason I'm so personally disappointed in Deion is I thought he was there for a movement, not for money. Meaning, Deion Sanders, the coach of Jackson State, I foresaw a situation where Deion would hire other coaches other retired black NFL greats to coach other HBCUs. In doing so, you attract our top tier high school athletes to come to HBCU.
Maybe.
Stay with me.
Eddie George is at Tennessee
Stay
State.
with me. Stay with me. Football and back. You know, like I know, if you got top tier NFL greats coaching HBCUs, the athletes are coming just like they was coming for Deion. He showed you, Charlamagne.
Deion, though.
He showed
Dr.
you.
Umar.
And his other one's just
Deion's
as
one
great.
of the most famous people ever.
And his other one's just as great. So listen.
Eddie George at Tennessee State.
That's one person. We talking about a system, not an individual. So Deion and these other coaches bring all these athletes from high school to play football, basketball, so forth. The revenue of the HBCU goes up, Envy. As a result of the revenue going up, Charlamagne, the schools got more money. They don't have to subject themselves to closure. They don't have to subject themselves to being dependent on white money. You got HBCUs at risk of being closed. I read something that said almost a half of them. A half may not survive the decade. So this was bigger than football. This was about the survival of the HBCU.
It's bigger than Deion,
especially,
though, Dr. Umar.
No,
Yes,
no,
it is. I think
no. Stop trying
you're blaming an individual.
Stop trying to give celebrities a pass, Charlamagne.
No, you're blaming an individual
I'm not
instead of talking
blaming
about
him.
the issue.
I'm blaming black men for not being men.
But you know what?
I'm blaming us for
Listen.
not being men. That was an unmanly move.
Can you admit one thing?
Deion could have went down in history, brother.
Are HBCUs chronically underfunded?
Of course.
Were they chronically underfunded before Deion?
Yes.
Yes.
Will they be chronically underfunded after Deion?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What are those reasons that they're chronically underfunded?
We don't get
Because
back.
we as black men have not come together to create the funding source to make sure they survive. I don't want to hear about the government. We have too many wealthy blacks.
That's one,
Y'all
exactly.
interview them every
Listen,
day.
I'm with you. So you got low
Alumni donors.
low alumni donors,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Low endowments.
Correct.
That's a us problem.
He part of us. Why you keep exempting celebrities?
But he's one
They're not
person.
better than us.
He's one person.
Okay, but the point is that one man could have been a catalyst for a movement that would have revolutionized the survival of HBCUs.
But why does the movement stop just because he left? HBCUs gonna still be
You're
here.
missing the point.
No,
The
HBCUs gonna still
abolition
be
wasn't
here.
just about Frederick Douglass. But if Frederick Douglass would have pulled out, it would have hurt it. The Underground Railroad wasn't just about Harriet, but if she would have pulled out, it would have failed.
So what was the
civil
HBCU
rights movement
movement
wasn't
before
just about
Deion?
King.
Before Deion 3 years ago, what was
They
the
were
HBCU movement?
struggling, and he could have helped save it. And for him to pull out of Jackson State the way that he did it before making sure the HBCU system survived, to me was selfish. He chose money over the movement, Charlamagne, and celebrities do it all the time, and y'all want to give him a pass. Nobody get no pass.
That's
I don't
very
care
unfair
who
to say.
Deion Sanders is. He had a chance to help, and he hurt, and y'all want to condone that because you black celebrities are not committed to the best interests of black
Well, let
people.
me ask you a question.
So it's two things just based upon what Dr. Umar was saying. Like, one, I'm actually not mad at Deion for leaving because to that point, the issues with HBCUs are bigger than Deion. I think he brought a good attention to them. I wish he would have stayed longer but that's a sacrifice. And to the point was, he positioned himself as if he was doing this as a sacrifice and not doing this as an opportunity for him to become a head coach without having any other coaching experience and then move on to the Power 5, which I'm not mad at doing that, but that's not how he positioned himself. And I guess that people feel kind of abandoned because HBCUs are underdeveloped and underfunded and all those things, which is a systemic issue with our government. It's not Deion's fault. So to all of that, I'm saying, like, what hopefully comes of this is that we as a nation address that HBCUs are underfunded, right, by billions of dollars. And there was a Forbes article that talked about it, Tennessee State being one of the bigger ones, that states are underfunding HBCUs historically and continually doing that. And that benefits the PWIs, right? So as long as those schools have the larger resources, our better athletes are going to go there because the better athletes have to take care of themselves as well. Like, there is a twofold to this where you want to do everything for the community, but also the community has to individually be able to thrive as well, right? So whereas, like you said, Deion's going to make opportunities for black boys at Colorado, right? But we need opportunities for boys at Jackson State, but Jackson State is supposed to be supported by the state of Mississippi. So, I'm not mad at him, but I can definitely see why people feel, left out or abandoned because HBCUs, they need better, but they deserve better from their own states and country.
So, I appreciate you from a HBCU alum because, from a person who didn't go there, I felt like there's been if you didn't go to HBCU and you got something to say, people been like, you don't understand. So, I've been kind of quiet and I'm kind of stay quiet on it because I hear you. And I also hear as well what forget his name, but what he was talking about as well. So there's always, I'm always for people. It's always, I think it's unfair how we oftentimes put the pressure on black people to sacrifice everything for the sake of like our community, right? Which there's things that we're always doing, right? But it's like, God forbid you go out and do something beyond. It's not even about going to Colorado. It's not even about being a part of a white institution. It's also about opportunity as well. And I said this to someone like, all these people complaining, what are you doing for HBCUs? What are you doing for your own community? Right. Are you living in your own community? Right. Are you supporting other black owned business? Like, what are you doing? People can sit back on their couch and talk, living in the suburbs, ain't doing nothing, ain't working in the community, ain't doing nothing for community, ain't donating no money to the community, but the main ones criticize somebody else for making a move. Yeah. Right? People don't talk about the man donated half his salary to help, but he's done things for Jackson State. Yes. And it's a regular, and he's, I think, opened up doors in ways, and HBCUs is going to be HBCUs before and after, let's be clear, Deion Sanders. But we know there's discrepancies even amongst the HBCUs, right? We got our elite HBCUs, and we got some that have been struggling and going to continue to struggle. So, let's have this conversation in a nuanced way and not just make it all about just Deion, because Deion is not even a third of the problem.
Because we systemically are always being undervalued and oppressed, we end up fighting for resources. Deion shouldn't have to leave to get paid what he's owed. True. Right? We shouldn't have to beg celebrities to not get paid because states are underfunding our institutions that exist because we weren't allowed to go to their institutions. Yeah, right. I'm not mad at nobody for going to a PWI. That's for your education and for your resources in your future. The issue is that we were given HBCUs, or we had to start HBCUs because we couldn't go there originally. Right. And then once those schools started and they saw the value in black students, they started pulling them out. But not necessarily like supporting the schools. And once again, I guess we got to sit back and think, like, how much can we really ask of people who aren't really looking to make the table even? So, but beyond that, we can't keep doing the infighting. We can't keep, like, I'm not blaming Deion for anything. Like, if that's his life to live. He gave 2 years to coach in Jackson State, which is 2 more than I have. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like Doc said, whatever you doing is like whatever you doing for your community, you can stand in that. But I'm not blaming nobody for what they do and don't do, because it is not on one man to save a nation. Yep.
All right, man. So look, we said we weren't going to go. I know we got the brothers here, man. Let's get them to talking. Appreciate them being here. So before we jump in and get them to, we started getting them to talking. Just want to say, so years ago, back here in Lansing, there was Michigan State, University of North Carolina, Lansing School District, and also the city of Lansing collaborated on a research project to focus on the academic success of boys of color. And with that, I was charged along with a couple of other folks, Dr. Tishner, Chris Waston, who and other folks who were charged with creating a mentoring program, intergenerational mentoring program. And so I want to just, for the record, like, this was back in 2008. So this ain't, I know people doing stuff like this now, but this is like, we were doing this years and years ago. And so in essence, the program was created so that myself as a program director would support the development of college students, who would then support the development and just support overall mentor the high school students, who then will go into schools and support pre-K through third grade students around literacy and oftentimes math skills. And so BMEA, because I was a part of the project, I've been trying to get this back going for a while, with work and other things. What I'm trying to do, get the organization started off its feet. We're getting back to this work. And so we're getting back to this work that we were doing over 15 years ago. And so we got a couple of the gentlemen here who were high school students back in 2008, who are like grown men, daddies, husbands, and all that good stuff. So we're going to hear from them in a minute. But BMEA is also continuing this work in the Detroit area, with the hope of expanding it, hopefully coming back to Lansing at some point. Maybe one of them can help run it here. And we're going to have a focus particularly on the math work, because we know the NAEP scores show that, black boys, in particular, black students and overall, not doing well. This is nothing new. We can talk about all the issues in which it might come up at some point in this conversation, or maybe we'll save it for another podcast. So we know this has been an issue. So we want to do two things. We want to increase the number of black men in education, right? So how do we do that? We want to begin to, introduce these young men, these high school students, to what teaching could be, what it could look like. And on top of that, we want to also be helping build math confidence and math skills, fluency in not only our high school students, but also the young men that the high school students will be working with. So we'll talk more in general about our program that we've already kind of gotten it started already the last few months, but we're going to be also launching with 2 schools in Detroit in January. So I'm looking forward to that. So with that, I wanted to have these young men come to us today to kind of talk about their experiences because I'm going to tell you what got me going, because Payne and I have been talking about this idea, this podcast for a few weeks. Because I got on the phone, Rob, what y'all call him? Rob J? I don't call him Rob J. I call him Robert Jackson. Robert Jackson, Joseph. He was one of my former 5th grade students who was also part of the mentoring program. He called me one day. It was on a Sunday. I was up here at Michigan State. And I was walking campus, and he was like, Brother Lewis, Mr. Lewis, I'm a 30-year-old man. And I go to work, I come home, I take care of my kids, but it's like I don't have no passion. I don't know what I want to do. Like I don't feel as like happy as I can be. And so I was like, man, he's like, man, I was listening to one of y'all podcasts, and I think y'all should talk about that one time. It's like, man, that's a good point. Right. And so, y'all in your 30s, early 30s. And so I want to start us off with like thinking about that question that he posed, and I'm going to pose it to you guys this way is, you feel like right now in your life you are working in a field or in a space that you're passionate about. And I'm gonna start. Y'all can jump whenever y'all want to. Just don't be all shy. Y'all ain't shy. Say more about that.
I work in production. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do that forever. So I'm still trying to figure it out. I ain't got it all figured out, but I'm not working in my passion right now.
And why do you think you're not there? And do you even know what your passion is?
Not really, no. But I'm not there because I had the opportunity. I went to college, but I messed that up. So that's part of it. But I'm not there just because I don't think I put myself out there like that.
One of y'all?
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what you said. I don't necessarily think I'm doing what I'm necessarily passionate about. I'm still playing football and stuff like that. I'm passionate about football. But other than that, obviously I can't play ball forever. Other than that, I don't necessarily think I'm working what I'm passionate about. And like he said, I'm still, in a way, kind of learning what it is that I actually want to do for my career, for the rest of my life. So as far as something that I'm passionate about, I don't think I'm working in that field exactly yet. And the reason I'm not there is, like I said, the biggest is I don't necessarily know what I want to do yet. And like I said, I'm still learning. There's things that I've learned along the way up until this point, such as lawn care and stuff like that. So, that's something that I'm also looking into, but more so than anything, I'm not there simply because I don't know what I want to do yet. So, but I'm still learning. It's all a process, so.
I believe that I'm in my right. I'm passionate about what I do as a barber. I was able to have two things and put them together because I did want to become a teacher before I was a barber. I was with the mentoring program, and then after the mentoring program, I became a teacher's assistant. So I was still working with kids, but then I grew more passionate about cutting hair and things like that. Then now I run into young kids. They come in for appointments. We're able to talk about different things, whether if it's their mom there or their dad there or whatever. We just talking. I'm able to mentor and give all my insight, rather if it's even kids or a dog. I just had a client. He's like, man, that's why I like talking to you, man, because I know it's going to stay here. You give good advice and other things like that. So I can dig deeper into my passion with being more of getting out here more of who I am, Rod the Barber, people knowing about me and other things like that. Though I work good with kids with autism. I did that back in high school, so and I'm here by myself in the suite, so I guess I'm passionate. I just like working with kids, like working with people, seeing people, talking. Rather if you talk or not, though, it's just, I'm in my passion.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. And barbers are a pillar of the black community, because before therapy was even a thing, you had to talk to your barber about all your problems. So, y'all play an important role for black men, definitely. How would you say, and just speaking from your personal experiences, how would you say high school particularly, prepared you for like finding your passion or your adulthood?
So I don't think it did at all. I mean, if you wanted to be like, I say this, I saw other people learning their passions. I took like a couple AP classes that I shouldn't have took my senior year, my junior, my senior year. And I saw people in there like, oh, he gonna be a biologist. That's what he wanted to do. But he knew that then. I ain't even thinking about doing none of that in high school. So I feel like we lacked in like learning how to do things for ourselves in high school. And so we didn't get a chance to branch out. It was like, you want to go to school, you can either do something with math, you can do something with science, you can do something with history, but then that was it. So it wasn't nothing more than that. And if you ain't played ball, you ain't.
That's real. That's real.
Your opportunities was limited.
What do you think?
I don't know. Honestly, high school was different. I mean, I didn't take high school really serious until I actually got with the mentor. So I really didn't necessarily. I was just going to school just to go to school. Mm-hmm. Mom said I got to go to school, so I'm gonna just go to school. I really didn't take it serious until I got in the mentor program. But I think the mentor program kind of helped it a little bit, kind of get me to stay focused and kind of actually look at school a little bit different and kind of just be more open about, learning. And then they also taught me some stuff too. So I feel like they taught me more than the school necessarily would prepare me for.
So let me ask y'all this question. So you think about, we're still working in schools. We do work in schools, and, we're in the Detroit area. We're in New York as well. What would you, if you was on a panel talking to a bunch of educators or people who are creating a school, what should school look like that you think would sort of spark a person's passion? Like what needs to change or shift, or what should it look like?
I don't know what it would look like, but some of the things I would like to see would be some of the, teachers that actually care. Not somebody that's just doing it just because they got paid. Obviously, you working, everybody got to get paid. But at the same time, like you said, passion. Are you passionate about it? Are you willing to, help the kids by any means necessary and listen to the kids with the intent to understand and not just with the intent to reply and stuff like that, and kind of just being more of a role model, because a lot of us in school, me personally in school, I didn't necessarily have that role model as to where I can, just come to a teacher or anything like that. So the fact that if teachers were a little bit more understanding, and heck, the students have to be a little bit more patient as well and be willing to learn as well as too. But at the same time, I just feel like if teachers, actually took that initiative to actually care about the students and stuff like that, and I think that'd be more beneficial than anything as well.
That's a good point.
For me, I think what would I want to see in high school? I just would want to see. So when we met y'all, that was the first time I actually saw. Like obviously, I knew the teacher went to college, but I didn't know what that meant. So y'all was the first people I seen like, oh, you can go to college and you don't get your degree, but you can start programs and you can use those programs to help these people. I didn't know like that was the route. I didn't just going to school. You ain't know that like what's going on. And obviously, the purpose of y'all program, y'all organization is to get. I think I had one black teacher until I was a sophomore in second grade. Yeah, so obviously we want to see more of that. People that look like us doing this thing, and then not just look like us, dress like us, talk like us. They can see us because we got them, but they ain't aligned with us.
Ooh, that's another topic for another day.
They're not aligned with us or our well-being or anything like that.
I would say, honestly, just seeing what the students are interested in. Obviously, like you say, you got the basics, the math, the science, and all that. But what about the extracurricular stuff of, you got kids that want to play video games. Well, how about, we create a video game or something like that, and people come in, or you got somebody come in to teach that, or, I want to do video production. Let me, have the camcorder record the high school basketball game. Put different stuff like that to kind of lead people off and the students off into the real world and trying to shift them into something that they can be and take off and be more with, not just learning it, picking it up. Okay, I went to high school, or I went to college for a year. That wasn't for me. So now let me finally go into my passion, which was something I knew 2-3 years ago. So actually just trying to dissect and get into the kids' mind and what they like.
Piggyback off of that. Also, I would in this dream school, I would also like to see, like you said, helping kids actually find their passion, because everybody got to do basics, math, science, stuff like that. We all got to do that, but also, finding out what the other kids' passions are, because there are other ways that you can survive in this world other than just going to college. College necessarily isn't for everybody. Me personally, for a long time, I didn't think college was right for me, so I never really took school serious. I always knew I wanted to do something else. I just didn't know what. So I guess, just like I said, just helping students actually find something that they're also good at other than math, science, and stuff like that, because, like I said, school's not for everybody. There's other ways that, you can survive in this world. Doing videos, streaming, fashion, and stuff like that. There's tons of things that you can do that you can actually do without actually school.
Bring up such a good point, because there are a couple of lines that I think kids hear and they misinterpret it, right? So first and foremost, to all of your points, like, I think there isn't enough like of kids have an opportunity to find their passion in school, because schools are so busy trying to get kids to college.
Yeah.
Right. But the failure of that doesn't motivate kids to want to get to college, because I don't know what I'm passionate about, right? Either I'm going because my mama said I gotta go, or I'm doing well in school, or I may have luckily found something in one of my classes that interests me, that, I want to do this. Like, I want to be a writer, or I want to be a teacher, or I want to be a doctor, and I know I gotta go to school, right? But when you were saying, like, college isn't for everybody, what you really mean is that, like, you can still learn, but it might not necessarily be in a university. You know what I mean? If I'm interested in building homes, right? I like to build homes. I like to work with my hands. It doesn't mean I don't need to learn anything, but it doesn't mean I need to go to Michigan State to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now I have a passion. I still need to learn math. I still need to learn, economics. I still need to learn how to write. But now I know what I want to be, and now I need to find a plan for what I want to do after high school. Do I take these classes, right? Do I join an apprenticeship and become in construction? You know what I mean? Like, now I have, like, an aim and a focus, right? Which, if you have aim and college is on that path, then I think kids will be more inclined to want to go to college. At least I know where I'm going. Yeah, but college is just like a bill if I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm speaking just from my experience. I was good in school, but I had no idea what I wanted to be. Or what I thought I wanted to be, I thought was out of my reach. Which I think often happens for a lot of our kids too. Like, you want to be an athlete, all right, you ain't fast enough to be no athlete, right? You know what I'm saying? So, okay, sports is out of the question. Okay, I wanted to be an architect for a long time. I got to, the colleges I applied to didn't have architecture programs, right? Or the one that I tried to get into, I didn't do any architecture work in high school. I didn't have a portfolio, so I couldn't get in, right? I was passionate about architecture, but my school didn't have anything for me to do any architecture, all right? So you get to college, and, you're taking your classes, you're thinking about jobs, right? And that's another thing. We learn that you got to, like, get a job. Not find your passion. They don't even use the word passion in schools. It's like, you got to go to college so that you can get a job, so that you can work. And he was going to work anyway. You know what I'm saying? But now it's either you working in your passion or you not. When I graduated with an econ degree, because I was like, maybe I'll get this econ degree, I can start a small business. 'Cause I still had no idea. It took me 2 years out of college and really just trying to find somebody to like give me a job. I started working with kids. Right, and I was like, oh, man, this work is kind of, like, meaningful. You know what I'm saying? It's purposeful. I'm recognizing that, like, there was some inequities in these schools. Like, I never have a problem in school, but I'm looking at these kids struggling in school. I'm like, this ain't right. And so then I'm, like, starting to have, like, an interest in, like, well, what's happening in the schools? So, like, I'm going to go to grad school, and, maybe I get certified to teach, and I can just do that for a little while. Once I got in the schools and see the problem, I'm like, oh, no, I'm serious about this. And that's when I think like it clicked. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like there are things that we like to do and we all want money, but those things might not necessarily tie to our passion, right? But the passion is what will make you say like, all right, I can do this for a while. Like, I can go to work and I'm okay with what I'm doing because this is passionate. You know what I'm saying? I have a passion for this, or I'm good at it. One of the two. So I completely agree with what y'all are saying, and we don't do that in high schools because, me and Doc talked about this before. We just teaching to test in high school.
Yeah, man. I appreciate all this. I'm and Payne, you right on, so I'm not gonna even get hyped because you be getting me hyped. So I'm gonna stay real calm today. I'm gonna let them get hyped. So let's flip to the program for a second because I know y'all keep, y'all have mentioned this. So just talk a little bit like what impact, and I'm not making y'all say nothing, right? Okay. Y'all know I ain't never made y'all say nothing. I remember Roger used to be, man, he was always running his mouth. So I always had something smart to say. But we let him, we cultivated that. Dante ain't never say nothing, but you had a smart mouth all the time, man. And I just I'm just going to let him be. We're going to shape this a little bit, but I ain't going to kick him out because he got a smart mouth. But what's important is I want to hear from y'all, just this program was more 15 years ago. How long ago was it? About 15 some years ago. Y'all 30 something now, so y'all was 15, 14. So it was about 15 years ago. Talk a little bit about the experience and its impact on y'all today. However you want to shape it, talk about whatever.
For me, it's we started having conversations that's the buzzwords on social media now. Misogyny, I hear that word sound 17. Toxic masculinity. Y'all taught us about all of that way back then. So that's something that is easy for me to recognize in myself now. And it's a lot easier for me to when I hear people talking about you're not talking about that right. Or that's not what that means. But but the program itself though it was just different. At 16 we would have been working at McDonald's or something like that. We got something meaningful out of our jobs when we were 16 years old. I saw kids get better at writing, reading, math because we were working with them. And we had that, the program was so free, sometimes too free, but the program was so free in the program, but it was different for a job at 16 years old. It was completely different than most people got to experience at that age.
I'll say it was one of a kind. The experience was definitely different. Like you said, it was a job, but then also it was an experience because most of us, we wasn't exposed to somebody actually caring for us like that and making sure that we're doing what we're necessarily supposed to do because some of us grew up without that father figure. So being in that program kind of filled that void to where we have that father figure that's actually pushing us to do better in school and actually helping us understand certain things that we don't necessarily understand. And like he said about the feelings and stuff like that, it's a lot of things that kind of played in the fact that kind of helped me understand who I was as a person, as a man, that kind of just pushed me to be better who I am today. And it's kind of the way I think now is because some of the things that the mentorship installed in me. So for that, I'm extremely grateful for that experience in itself. But like I said, I've seen kids do better in school just because of something that we're doing, but because of you guys that taught us. So the fact that, it was almost like y'all teaching us and then we're going to teach them and then they're going to pass it along and teach the other kids. So it was almost in a way, like a domino effect. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people should experience or at least get a chance to experience because I feel like that will actually benefit everybody if we was to start doing something like that in the Lansing area. Then, like I said, it'll be another domino effect and everybody's helping everybody across the board. Literally no child left behind in a sense. So mentorship for me personally is one of those things where everybody should at least get a chance to experience.
The program, it was fun. I had a great time. Like they said, I learned a lot from it. Took a lot of stuff to learning, dealing with kids, such as with attitude problems and things like that. But another thing he said, I liked the domino effect. literally was dominoes every Thursday. That's when we all got together. That's when the high school and the professors and stuff, we all got together and just have fun. We was able to release and do different things and learn like PowerPoints, like you said, masculinity and different stuff. And we had grown to have even more passion for like the stuff they set out for us, like in the program than in school almost, because we wanted them to be proud of us for getting stuff done. It took us a while to get the creed down.
We don't change it so many times.
But it was a handful of us. There was a handful of us that wanted it to get it down. And you know what I'm saying? And it was just a blessing, though. Going out on MSU campus, just chilling out there, and just seeing just little different stuff. And actually seeing other black males that was doing it to know that we could do it too. So I looked a lot.
So I know y'all don't know the creed, right?
Don't ask me. But I got it though at the house.
Where is it? Where is it?
It's at the house.
Where?
In my in one of them folders, cause I got like 3 folders. I even found my awards too.
Your awards you got
all
too?
my awards.
So I'm disappointed y'all don't know the creed yet, though. Y'all still don't know the creed.
What is it though? Can you repeat it?
We're going to keep on moving. So you got any questions, man? You got to get I get it going. I just need the one word, and I can get it going.
Oh, you need one word.
No, it'll start with promoting. I don't think it started with promoting, but so I guess it was some words in there though that y'all didn't know what they meant at the time. So just thinking about like who y'all are as men, right? I want to sort of dig in. I know you brought up the toxic masculinity. I know we were talking about that because there was some things y'all was, energy y'all was bringing into the space, right? So it was important for us to begin to address that. So what are some things just as far as like, what does it mean to be a man that you've learned from the program that maybe is connected to who you are as a husband or a brother or a father or whatever the case may be?
For me, it was just the ability to, like, we learned to express, like, y'all can talk, y'all can say how y'all feel, it's gonna be all right, like, we had it wasn't completely, it was judgment free. I said she was judging, but like, it wasn't, we had people in the program, that I know actually would never be able to, that express themselves in that room that they probably don't now and didn't before that either. So that's what I take from it, is like, I can be myself, like wherever I'm at, you can be yourself.
I say the program honestly I was shy when I started, so now I'm much more open. I talk in public and this and that. So for me, I feel like it kind of got me out of my shy shell. Like I said, I'm much more talkative. I hold a conversation with you. I speak in public if need be. Like this, I wouldn't have did this. Back then. I wouldn't have did this at all. I would have like, nah, I can't even do it. I got something I got to do. I would have made up and gave up literally any reason. I can't do it. I lost my shoe. I would have just made up a reason to just try to get out of it. But the simple fact that the program, like you said, it kind of gave me that push to get me out of my shy shell and kind of just be more open and just, like I said, just like they said, just be myself more. So like I said, that's one of the biggest things is me being open, because before, I was airtight. Ain't getting nothing out of me.
Man, I could just really say the same things like they just said. Just have you open up, have you more fun. I looking forward to going to work or mentoring every day. Like 4 o'clock, I gotta get there 4 o'clock. I'm at Wainwright today, you know what I'm saying? Like, gotta get there, you know.
Don't be late.
Right? We have fun too, you know. It was like I said, it was just more. It was more than just mentoring. Like, we played basketball, we ate pizza, we laughed, cracked jokes. You know, it was a blessing to be a part of it. You know. So.
You know, it's crazy. I got my first concussion with y'all.
Hooping, huh?
No, when we played football at Long Island. I got my first concussion because of y'all.
So I ain't know nothing about that.
Man, it was terrible.
They didn't let me know about that.
Fridays when
we went to
okay. That's that free time, right? Man, it's too free. I ain't know nothing about that.
Man, it was bad.
You don't have any impact on that, right?
No, I'm good.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure.
But back then, it was bad. Yeah. I kid you not, I threw up that day.
It's funny because I don't remember this story at all.
I don't think.
I probably wasn't there.
We started there and then we went somewhere else. And you met us at somewhere else.
Oh, and then so y'all kept that from me.
You met them somewhere else. I didn't go. I went to the doctors. You met them.
Oh, okay.
I went to the doctors. I had to. Like I said, I threw up immediately. I had to go. I left right there. You met them up.
Well, I'm glad you survived that. I'm sorry that happened to you. Don't try to,
look,
ain't no money.
Look, I'm married and I don't forgive.
As long as you ain't still got no side effects from that. But I got one more question for y'all, and I'm gonna turn it over to Payne, and then we can probably end up wrapping it up. But just if there is one thing that you think we could, as we're building this program now and moving this program forward, piece of advice that you would give us. Obviously, I'm 15 years older, so I won't be as involved as I was before. But what advice would you give the people running the program, directly impacting the kids and working with the kids? What advice would you give them?
To be passionate and think outside the box. Be passionate about what you're doing with mentoring the kids. And when I say think outside the box, obviously got to think different than the kid, because like we said, we didn't really know where we wanted to go in life. Try to get to know the kid, help them out with resources on where they want to go, and say, we got this program over here, or it's this thing that's going on to help you out to where you want to go. So that's all I can.
This is advice for your high school students or
for somebody who's running the program?
Okay.
Be patient. I mean, that's one of the biggest things I can say, because for one, no kid is ever the same. It's always different. So you kind of got to be patient. Some kids is going to take a little bit longer to open up to. It's going to take a little bit longer to kind of build that trust up for them to even open up to you. So the biggest thing is just to stay patient. It's not going. Rome wasn't built in a day. This program, or the mentor program, it's not going to be built in a day. So you kind of got to take your time and build that trust level up, just to even get them to open up to you. And you do it, like you said, also finding your passion. Make sure you're passionate about it. Don't just do it just because you're collecting a check at the end of the day. Don't do it for that. Do it for the right reason. That's to help better the community and help better the kids as well. So make sure you're passionate about it and just stay patient.
Yeah, I mean, I think that too, being patient stuff. But also just when it comes to the high school students, make sure they serious.
I knew that was coming.
That's why I asked you.
I know that's it.
Because sometimes, man, our program, we have a great time. I love the program, but sometimes, y'all extended some hours rent.
Pick some people up on the way to work. Hey, what you doing?
You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, with anything, it's going to be a little dead weight. And, it ain't they fault. Sometimes the program works for them, but, I think one of the things that can happen in these programs is that we can't save everybody. Unfortunately, you can't save everybody. Maybe something you can do for them outside of that program. That don't have to be lost. But if the program is, like you said, working for math and literacy, if the high school student ain't taking their own math and literacy serious, then you can't, it's not going to help. It ain't going to be right. So we had a couple of
So, Chris, y'all can't see Chris back here, but Chris Watson back here, our director of the podcast, was part of the program. So we know, everybody up here know how Dante's been about this. He is still passionate about this as he was 15 years ago. So Dante used to be the one to come to me like, why is he still in this program? Like, he don't care about this. He messing it up. Like, he's making this program that, like, you got to get him. Come on, Mr. Lewis. Like, he was always, and he is still.
Taking up the pieces.
He is still giving me that advice as we move forward, which I appreciate it. So, we going to wrap up in a minute. I don't know, Payne, you had another question or something you want to share before we wrap up?
I think the last question you asked was what I was going to say. So just like advice you give to running mentoring in general or schools. Because I think a lot of what you guys said, first of all, a lot of your perspective on working with kids, a lot of teachers still don't even have yet. And I think that's so important in terms of like the patience, the understanding, and then like helping kids find their passion to build that trust and relationship. So and that's kind of why we're doing this mentoring. There are gaps, obviously, in education. There are gaps in what's going on in our classrooms. We don't have enough black men in education. But I think this mentoring program you guys are proof that this mentoring program has a great impact. And so I'm excited to be a part of it and continue to do that work. So that's all I was going to add to it. Then
I did have a follow up because I want y'all just real quick. So I know Dante. We in the school, and I used, we're gonna leave it right there. But all y'all know the impact y'all had on kids. I know the tables you talked about, like, man, I love seeing the kids learn, engage, blah, blah. Why did y'all just go into teaching? What stopped y'all from going to teaching? And be real, be honest.
Me, I failed in college. It wasn't. Well, no, I'll tell you what did. I tried to do kindergarten. And that I spent
Both y'all did the same thing,
right? 2.5 months in the kindergarten class, and I shouldn't have did.
You should not have did
that killed me. I thought that's where I wanted to make my impact, because that's.
I mean, they need you, but yeah,
that's the kids we work with. We work with kindergarten, first graders, so I knew I was going to be there, but my sophomore year, they had where we had to go into the classroom, go to a school. So I was like getting on the bus in Saginaw every day, going to a school, being there for like 4 hours.
You was irritated with her. You got
like I'm walking, like I'm taking a bus, then I'm walking a mile.
Oh yeah.
And I get there and it's kindergarten. I get there and it's
you already ran down, right?
One day it rained.
Nah, but you're right though. We do be setting people up for failure when you give them the worst situation to be in. To
somebody could have told me you don't want to. It was
need a car.
It was a male teacher, and you got to do the job if that's what you're passionate about. Mm-hmm. But he was like singing one of the Good Morning songs. I was like, I'm never gonna do that. Like, I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. And I ain't realized that until it was kind of too late.
No, you got singing a Good Morning song.
They were singing a lot.
Man, God bless kindergarten teachers. I say that every episode. God bless kindergarten teachers. Cannot believe it.
Man.
Let's tell you why.
Out after the bus. Then he had to go deal with.
Yeah, that was a lie. That was a lie. Then it was the ride back. It probably was also irritating. Let's tell you, what's your thoughts, Dan Roger?
I don't know. I mean, I always wanted to help, but I don't necessarily think I necessarily wanted to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't, like he said, I don't think I would have been the Good Morning singing class type. But like I said, I definitely would always want to help. It's just, I feel like I could have did a little bit more in a sense. But I never really wanted to be a teacher.
I don't know. I didn't go to college for it, I guess. I mean, I just started barbering, and then when I started barbering, I just found my passion for that and went to school and got a license for that. But it's no. If I could go back, I don't know. I probably would have given it more of a try. Yeah. I could probably make it better. Because I'm me. I'm down to earth. I'm laughing. I do got a filter. Though. I know when to be a pro.
What they say, code switching.
You do.
I do got one last question. Actually, so to follow that up, what do you think? Like, what change would make the biggest impact on you? Maybe like reconsidering education. Like, if you were younger and going to college and I'll be a teacher now. Like, what would you change about teaching, the profession, that you think will make, especially young black boys, want to be teachers?
I guess I don't know. You gotta make it fun. You gotta make it more interesting, though. Make it they got the teachers now doing the handshake with the kids and all that, and when they come in and. I don't know. You just gotta make it. You gotta make it fun for you and the students, though, so that they want to learn and they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like they know you down to earth just like them, though. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's. Obviously, I think you just like. I don't think we know it's the opportunity that it is, and I don't think kids think of it as like, oh, you making an impact, like. So I think that should be taught. Like you gotta understand. Maybe you go teach at a school that got like 100% graduation rate. Like that's beneficial for you as well. You may not know it, but like that's beneficial for you. So I think it's that, and then I said it earlier, I just don't think it's enough teachers that look like us, and I mean like in every way, not just being black, but like, man, you see a teacher, you go to a teacher, not that this matter, but if you see one car, and this is a teacher's car, and you see this car, and this dude, I don't know, he managed something or whatever, that does it for kids sometimes. They don't think teachers make enough, or they don't see the benefits of the job outwardly. So,
or they not cool, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's fair to say, like, you know, you're not cool, I don't want to be like you. You know,
you got to do something to make it so.
The kids nowadays will tell you.
You're not cool. I want to be like
you. You got to make it so it's cool. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Like, it got to be. I don't know. It need like a rebrand.
You need a PR, better PR.
You just need a rebrand. I'm with you on that. Savis gonna close it out, and then I'm gonna.
Honestly, I don't really have nothing to say.
Okay.
I mean, I ain't got nothing to say.
That's all good, all good. But look, man, y'all know, one, I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all all taking off work or done something. Didn't pick up the kid from school or something today for y'all to be here. I know. Dante was, not sleeping. He probably be asleep by now because he worked all kind of crazy hours. So shout out to y'all. Y'all know, man, from y'all three, it was at least 20-something of us, right? And y'all know y'all all were like my kids, man. It still is. I know y'all grown. I still talk to y'all like, y'all 15, 16. They had to remind me when they came up to my little retirement thing, whatever that was. I was like, man, y'all need some gas money? It's like, we 30. I was like, my bad. It's just, it's in me. So, like, just shout out to y'all for the men that y'all are, right? Y'all are great, more importantly to us, great fathers, right? Y'all are great fathers. Y'all, y'all do what you gotta do to make sure you take care of your kid. And then for those who are married, you're great husbands. And so it's just great to see y'all. And this, y'all know, we family, so I'm gonna stay in touch with y'all as always. And hopefully we'll get it going in Lansing. And y'all can run it. Well, you're gonna be cutting hair. But you can bring the clippers in there and cut their hair.
I'll be a part.
Run it. Run it.
Look, I don't know what. Look, I'm gonna find my spot.
Okay, you gonna find your spot. So we gonna be back. We're gonna be back. So just shout out to all the brothers that's in it, and shout out to y'all for being here today, representing. And I appreciate y'all. Much love y'all dearly. So thank y'all. Appreciate that.
Thank you. We absolutely appreciate y'all joining us. We appreciate y'all for joining us on the BMEA Podcast.
But before we this is it, right? For the year 2022.
2022
is over. So happy Kwanzaa.
Happy for the year. 2022
for the year.
Yeah. So we'll be back in January, second week of January. Happy holidays, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah. And we hope that everyone goes into the new year rejuvenated, refreshed, and ready to make change in the world. So thank you. It's the BMEA Podcast, lifting our voices.
You are now listening
to the Black Male Educators Alliance podcast.
Lifting our voices.
Lifting our voices.